Good morning, afternoon, or evening. My name is Benjamin, and this is part 2 for our Risk of Rain inspired tutorial called Risk of Flame, for lack of a better name, probably. But let's jump right into this. Okay, the first thing I want you to do is, the last time that we left off, we were having issues because of the sprite size for our mask. So come into your sprite player mask, edit it, do transform, do stretch, and make sure you do just poor quality. And instead of a width of 12, we want to do a width of 16. But make sure that the height is still 20. So we should have one that's 20 by 16 now. Or 16 by 20, sorry. Now we want to recenter this image, because if you don't do that, that's going to mess things up too. And that should be good. Okay. I had extra stuff that I did in the room, so just pretend like none of that ever happened. And let's put that back at 32 and 32. Okay, so don't pay attention to that stuff that I did. That's because I was messing around with this later. So another thing that I forgot to do that one of you mentioned in the comments was in here you can see that we're checking over 3 spots to the right, but we're actually moving 4. That's really bad. So make sure that we check 4, 4, 4, and 4. Okay? Now, let's see. That should be good. So let's jump right into the next part, which is the glitch that I told you about last game. So watch this. It might be hard for you guys to see it. Hopefully my screen recording software does a good job of it, so that you can see this glitch. But you'll notice if you land right on the edge of a corner, the character just jumps down to the ground. And it doesn't look too bad right here, but if you hit like a really high corner, it'll look really bad, because all of a sudden he'll just be on the ground. So how do we fix that? Well, I figured out a way to fix it that works pretty well. So let's go into our step event. Now what we're going to do is, before we actually move the character, which is right here, so before that, where we move it, we're going to do another check. If place free x, y plus 1. So we're going to check to see if we're on the ground, or if we're not on the ground. If we're not, or if we are on the ground, so else, just move us. So if we're in the air, we're going to do something. If we're not in the air, just move normal. Okay? But if we're in the air, we need to check again. We need to do if keyboard, if place free x plus 4 y plus v speed. Okay, that's the difference. So if that case is true, then we're actually going to add to move our player to the right. So copy this code and select your x minus equals 4 here, and paste it over that, and then just change these to -4, minus equals 4, and -4, like that. Okay, so that should get rid of that glitch. There's also another glitch where if you hold the right and the left button at the same time, it kind of messes stuff up. So we're going to fix that really quick. We're going to do and not keyboard check VK left. Okay. Then we're going to have another one that's down here inside of our else if statement for moving left. We want to check to make sure we're not pressing the right key. So if you press right and left at the same time, your character will just stand there and won't do anything. So that's perfect. That's a good way to do this, so that we don't have to worry about that. So, okay, we should have most of the glitches, if not all of the glitches, fixed now, where we don't have to worry about those anymore. Our character, if you'll notice, can now move right up against a wall, and he can't move left because I must have typed something in wrong, so let's double check that real quick. Okay, let's see. Okay, you can see the whole code right here, and if keyboard check VK left and keyboard, oh, I forgot to change this to right. There we go. So, oh, let me pull that up again. So if you felt like you got lost or something, you can pause the video right here. This is the entire code in the step event. So really all we changed was this section right here. That's different. Okay. Let's run this again, and we can make sure everything's working well. And then we're actually going to get into animation. Oh my gosh, I'm excited for that. So you can see our player can move up against both walls, and we should have that down corner glitch fixed, if you'll notice. At least I can't reproduce it, so it's kind of hard to test because it's a tricky glitch, but I'm pretty sure we fixed it with that code. I've tried messing around with it quite a bit before to make sure, so awesome! So, if you were just looking to build your very own platform game and you want to completely go off on your own tangent now and ignore whatever I'm talking about, then you can, because this gives you the basics for a platform game with platform physics, and it's all pretty good. So, let's duplicate, let's see, right click on your sprite player mask, and we're going to click duplicate, and we're going to call this sprite player, sprite player, we'll call it sprite player. We're going to edit it, we're going to come in here, and I'm going to select a transparent color and use replace, so that now we've got a transparent color in the room. If you're not, I forgot to mention GameMaker Standard. GameMaker Standard is free right now, and Studio is on sale, quite a bit cheaper. So be sure and go to yoyogames.com. If you don't have an actual version of Studio yet, you can go download it right now, or Standard, you can go download it right now for free, and Studio is quite a bit cheaper. I don't remember exactly how much it was. It might have been like $15 or $35, or I don't know. But seriously, go get it. So, anyways, back to what I was saying. If you're in Studio version, you should be able to make this transparent. If you're not, then you'll just have to make a color there and click transparent outside in the sprite settings. So that's kind of the difference there. But okay, so Risk of Flame. So I don't know, I'm going to make this character red. Because of that, he's going to have some pretty awesome red clothes, I think is what I'm going to do. So let's go with a dark, kind of less saturated red like that. And I'm going to start, oops, we'll want to set our opacity back up. I'm going to start drawing this character here. Let's see. So one thing I recommend when you're doing sprite art is, well, it depends. There are so many different styles to sprite art, seriously. But one thing that I would highly recommend is starting out with basic shapes, like this. I mean, this is just literally all I have here is, like squares and rectangles. So I would highly recommend starting out with basic shapes because it helps you to kind of get something down, and then you can start tweaking it a bit. So I'm going to give the character gray pants. Because I want to. And I'm going to make him just a little bit of a... I'm going to take this off so he's just a little bit facing left. And I'm going to take some of this stuff, these arms off too actually. So just ignore those. And we're going to give him... I want him to be wearing a helmet too. So I'm going to give him a helmet. And we'll give him like a little, I don't know, visor thing in his helmet that he's looking out of. And I'm going to give him, for the arms, I'm going to make them a darker red. That way, you can tell them apart from the shirt, which I'm actually going to make even lighter. Let's go down a little bit this way and up a little bit this way and fill this in. That looks pink to me. I don't know what it looks like to you guys, but it looks pink to me. So actually I lied. I'm going to make it like a reddish gray. We'll see what that looks like. See, this is the thing with sprite art, is it takes time. Like, most of you are probably going to want to hire a sprite artist just because of how much time this takes. I mean, just perfecting stuff and just tweaking it until it looks good. I don't know. I think I want to stick with the same tone. Just make it lighter. I'm not going to change it other than make it lighter. So that doesn't look too bad, but it impresses me to make his pants red too. So I think what I'm going to do is just take out all color. Why not, right? I can do that. Because I feel like it. So he kind of looks like a robot right now, actually. So, okay, let's see. What else can we do here? I'm going to put that pixel there so it looks... I want it to look like he's standing sort of at an angle just a little bit. That's why I've cut off these two right here. And it might do good to put a little bit of a pixel stuff right there to turn his body even more. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to give him a gun. Nah, let's not give him a gun. He'll pull that gun out when he shoots. I want to keep this simple because animation gets pretty complicated, so I'm going to try and keep it simple for you guys. In fact, one more thing we need to do is actually make him just a little bit shorter. There we go. Because I want to have space up on the top and space down on the bottom, because he's going to bounce up and down a little bit when he's running, so I want to have a little bit of leeway space there. I guess the bottom's not as critical, it's mostly the top that we care about. So this is the basic sprite. What you could do is animate like a basic sprite like this, and then if you wanted to, you could give him an outline, because a lot of people like the whole outline style, and boom, you've got an outline that you can make it black or whatever, because black would be a cool outline. Some people like that style. In fact, I don't know, I might do outlined just because it'll be different. What happens is you can lose your character pretty easily in the game, so I think I'm going to do outlines in this game just to help you keep track of your character. And that's why I like this whole image outline function. It's pretty cool inside here. I mean, Photoshop would be better, but I'm so used to the GameMaker image editor that we're awesome with this. So I'm going to now duplicate that sprite object, well, sprite player, and we're going to call this sprite player run. Okay. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to turn this guy sideways all the way. So I'm going to select his arm. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to select his arm like this and move it over and just completely get rid of this arm. And let's see, we can leave that the same. We'll turn this the rest of the way. And let's get rid of those. I'm turning him the rest of the way, and the reason I'm doing this is because it'll make our animation simpler. Okay, so now what we want to do at this point, we've got him turned sideways and it looks kind of weird, but don't worry about it. We'll get this fixed. Now he's got kind of like a chest there, more muscle. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work because this is just kind of our base edge. But what you want to do when you're animating is you want to look up keyframes. Keyframes are so important. You can have the best animations, but if you're not using keyframes as a reference, then you're basically going to have a crappy animation. So just trust me on this one, guys. The professionals use references. Everybody uses references. So use a keyframe reference. Just Google a running cycle. This is like the top one that came up. And I'm just going to use this as a reference for the body positions. So let's start with, I want to start with one that's going to look good in, from the standing position. So we go from standing to moving, right? So we want to make that look good. So I don't want to use this one right here because that would look weird. If we go from standing to all of a sudden our legs clear out like this, it's going to look weird. The one I'm going to use is this one right here. And I'm going to use a subtle version of this one where we've got one leg coming out in front and the other one's kind of back a little bit. So let's do this. Let's come back into our sprite and we're going to grab this right here and we're going to bring it out a little bit in front like this, like we saw. And this one is going to come back a little bit. And this just takes sometimes just messing around with it little by little to get it to look the way you want it to. But and also we want to animate the arms, so let's pay attention to where the arms are because that's really crucial. So in this position right here, his right arm is forwards. So let's grab our arm and make sure that our arm is forward as well, like this. Okay, we'll leave that how it is. It looks kind of good that way. And let's take that off. It gets so tricky, trust me. Okay, let's just trust. I'm going to take some of this off here. In fact, I'm going to take that all. Oh, that looks so much better. Huh. Yeah, take that whole thing off right there. So let's just trust this and trust that our keyframes are going to look good. So now what we want to do is copy this and paste it. Now we're going to come into this image and we're going to go to our next keyframe image. So we were on, which one were we on? We were on this one right, this one right here. So now we'd be on this one. So what's different about this position? Well, the leg that's in front is now touching the ground, and the back leg, it's just kind of rotated at the knee. It's come up and back. It's moved forward maybe a little bit, but it's just rotated at the knee. And then our arm has come forward a little, or back a little bit actually. It was forward before and it's come back now. So let's go back into GameMaker. And we're going to bring this arm back just because that's an easy thing to do. Okay. Wait, where's his other arm though? Let's see. This arm's coming back, right? Oh, the other arm's still back and in behind. We can't see it right now, so we won't worry about it. So, and then this arm is now touching, or this foot is now touching the ground like this. Probably more like this, actually. This gets so tricky. I'm serious. And this leg is now up, like this, maybe. Serious, you can mess around with keyframes for forever. But that looks pretty good. And we'll tweak this a little later, even more. So, let's copy that one. And I've done so many of these animations that I actually don't use references anymore because I can kind of visualize in my head. But let me tell you, when I first started, I used references all of the time. So don't feel bad if you have to use references. Most everybody does it. In fact, when I don't use references, it usually doesn't look as good. So sometimes it looks okay, but okay, now our arm has come back even more, and the arm from behind is starting to come forward, so we want to grab that arm. But let's look at our leg positions. So this leg that was out in front and touching the ground has slid back now. it started to slide back in the image. Like you can see, if you look at the center of mass right here, his leg is clear out there. And then you look at it here, oh, there we go. Physics is coming out again. I'm so sorry, guys. But the center of the guy right here, the leg is almost right under him. So we're going to want to do that now. Come back into here, and we're going to grab this, and we're going to put this like right under. Maybe forward a little, just a hair, like that. And like this. Now our other leg, what's happened to our other leg? Well, first of all, our arm is further back, so let's do that. And let's grab the arm that was on this side and start bringing it out. And this leg is going to come forward now a little bit. We'll just do something like that, I guess. So we've got this one that's on the ground, right? And this comes out pretty far. I wonder if I can bring that down a little bit more. This is such a tweaking process. Just little by little, little teeny changes. Okay. Okay, so we've got this one pretty good. That's, this leg is straight down. The other leg's coming forward a bit, just like we want. Let's look at our next one now. And oh my gosh, this leg with the red shoe on it is clear forward. And the other leg is clear back. So you'll recognize that here pretty soon, we're going to reach a position that we started at. A similar position to how we started at, and that's where our loop's going to come in. But let's do this one. So let's copy this. Make sure you copy every time. Copy and paste each one, because if you don't, then you'll edit one you've already done, and I've done that before. Luckily there's an undo button in Studio, but I don't think the undo button in the Mac version works very well. So this one is, what is it? It's clear forward maybe. Where was it? Yeah, it's clear forward and our other leg is clear back. That's pretty much where we started. I wonder what this would look like. That's funny. Okay. The animation looks weird, so let's... In fact, I think what we can do is copy this one. Copy the legs from this one, because it's going to be the same. The arms are going to be different though. That's the key. So the legs are going to basically be the same at this point. Like that. We copy the legs from that one. What do our arms look like though? We've got one arm that's... this arm is clear in the back now. I'm not even sure how to represent that in pixels. Sometimes it can be just the tiniest little thing, right? That can change how something looks. It's crazy. In fact, I don't... And where's our other arm? It's probably going to be, I'm guessing it's going to look something like this. It's going to be coming forward like that. That's my guess. So let's see. Trigger animation. Yep, it's coming forward. Now we're going to start bringing the arm back. And that is going to, so we can copy this, come into our legs. We're going to steal these legs again, the ones that are whoops, okay, the ones that are one stretched forward and one's back. And I'm going to come all the way to the image right before our first image, this one right here. I'm going to copy these legs. And I'm going to come back to here, and I'm going to copy this torso, because we're just kind of, now our legs are continuing to move forward, but our torso is actually moving back. So copy that over, and get it like this. So at the end of this, I'm going to cycle through each one of these images really slow, so that if you need to, you can pause and just draw each one of them. So our image is looking pretty crazy, which is expected. I'm going to copy this one, move it over here. So we've got this one that is arm forward, other arm and back, probably, like this. Arm starts to move back, other arm starts to move forward, other arm keeps moving back even more. Yeah, I'll just go with that. Keeps moving back, starts to move back this way again. That one doesn't move. So I need to grab this one. That's this image right here. Copy this one, this torso. Okay, the arms, get this arm in here. This one doesn't have one. So we come in, we come forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. Okay, so one thing I don't like about this is we go clear back with a ton of images, and this is our only image forward. I want one more image forward, but I don't know if we'll be able to get it. Let's slow down this image speed. Okay, you can see it's, man, that is tiny on the screen. You can barely see that, but you can see that that looks pretty good, and all we did was follow keyframes. So the arms aren't perfect, but I'm not going to mess with them honestly, because I don't want to do, like, it would take forever to go fix those arms. I probably normally would, but for the sake of this tutorial I'm not going to fix them because they look good enough. And you can see, I mean, that's a pretty good animation. Or maybe you can't see because it's so tiny. I wish I could blow that up. Yeah, I can't, but that's okay. I'll show you in-game. So, awesome. We've got a player standing, and I actually want to do something. When our player's standing, I actually want him to animate a little bit. And we'll just make him breathe. So create one more image here, and all we're going to do is move his arms down. Just 1 pixel. That's it. And attach those there. And you'll see if you put this on a really slow speed, like a 3, it just looks like he's breathing. So we'll just keep that the way it is, and we'll come into, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, let's save, and we'll come into our player, and we'll do a create event. And inside of our player, let's put, thank you guys for your patience actually during that animation sequence. If you decided you didn't want to do a fancy animation like that, you didn't want to sit through it, you can skip ahead. Well, it's too late now, but I hope you skipped ahead if you didn't want to watch it, because that does take a while. But I've had a lot of people ask me about sprite art and animation, so I really do want to show you guys. So inside here we're going to do image speed. So we're just controlling the speed of our sprite, and we're going to set it equal to 0.2, I think. I don't know, we might have to mess with these to make them look good. So that's good. Now in our step event, when our player's moving, so when are the places that he moves? Well, he moves right here with that. So let's do sprite index equals sprite player run, and image speed equals 0.4 maybe. I'm gonna have to mess with these. So grab this code and copy it down here. Awesome. Okay. Now there are two other places where we move, but in these cases what we're going to do to make the player move to the left is we're going to flip his image, and the way you do that is setting the image X scale. So image, image X scale equals -1. Now we're going to copy this to the other spot where he moves, which is down here. And we actually need to do that up here. Image X scale equals 1. The reason we want that to equal 1 is so that it flips it back. If we move to the left and then move back to the right, we want it to flip it back to the right. So image X scale equals 1. Now that's a pretty cool trick because it inverts the image. So, okay, but there's another thing we want to do, which is if we're not pressing left or right. So we've got moving to the right here. We've got else if moving to the left. So we're going to do one more at the very end here. We're just going to say else. This is if we're not moving. Sprite index equals sprite player, and image speed equals 0.2. So okay, this doesn't have a jumping image in it yet, but we'll get into that tomorrow. So this is looking like a big hunk of code. So if you need to pause here, we'll end at line 30, and then jump down here. If you need to pause and get the rest of this in, you can here. This is one of my longer videos, but let's go in and see if that works for now. Let's change our player image to the sprite player and run the game and see what happens, because I am excited, super excited. Tomorrow we should get into the finer points of this. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, the animation looks pretty good. It looks weird that he's floating on the ground, but we'll fix that, don't worry. And we need to have a jumping sprite because it looks really weird that he doesn't have an in the air sprite. So we'll do that as well. And we'll do those two things tomorrow, and we will perfect this even further. But congratulations, you guys. Actually, one more thing before I quit. What I want to do is edit the sprite image. Well, actually, I won't outline these yet because we have more images to make, but we will be outlining them later. So congratulations if that's the first time you've ever really animated something. That is awesome. Be sure and like and favorite this video, and thanks for your patience since this was a longer video. I promise that the next one will be not quite as long. We just had to get this animation stuff in. People have been requesting it, and I want you guys to learn about it. So remember, the secret to animation is using keyframes. Look it up on the internet because keyframes are just amazing. So thank you guys, and I will talk to you guys later.